This right here is a United States senator on the floor of the Senate, one of the most august and politically powerful institutions in the world. And he is currently lamenting the illegal and unjust death of an imaginary person at the hands of imaginary assailants as he gestures to a AI-generated picture with the now rather infamous headless agent, ICE agent presumably, we don't know because the AI isn't very good with letters still, and so we don't have any insignia or any ICE vests or any markations whatsoever to indicate who they were. But presumably, this blatantly AI-generated image to which this absolute fossil is gesturing to as if it means anything at the distance of a single feet or two, and still utterly unable to notice the robot leg, for example. And he is using this as evidence to the Senate that ICE and MAGA have gone too far. And again, this is not a joke. This is Senator Dick Durbin, great checkmark, officially confirmed everything, serving the people of Illinois, Democratic whip and ranking member of the Senate Judiciary Committee. This man is the ranking member of the Senate Judiciary Committee using a blatant AI image of a headless man to condemn the killing of Alex Pretti. We've been saying it for a while now that we are in a post-truth world. We are in a post-reality world. We are no longer even talking about a shared reality. We are talking about the rejection of it. There was this too, a funny little tweet. This is a deepfake manufactured by the far right and the DHS retroactively to justify Pretti's murder. So, the Department of Homeland Security, in close collaboration, I must assume, with far-right American elements, decided to AI generate this entire video just to justify the murder of Alex Pretti from the left-wing's perspective. Wow, considering this is dated from January 13th and uploaded on January 16th as well, that is one hell of a commitment to the bit. Obviously, this is not true, and we even have separate angles of the incident, which demonstrates incidentally that Pretti was not a peaceful protester. He already had a proven history of actively agitating ICE officers. Even during this clip, he's seen as shouting, "Attack me," or was it assault me or something like that during the clip as he hits the car or kicks it. Now, incidentally, this also shows why escalation is the only solution to this problem. If Alex, right here, had been slammed to the ground, put in handcuffs and arrested, sent to jail for the next 2 or 3 months whilst his court case works its way through the system, then Alex would still be alive today. Just pointing this out here. If the fascist Gestapo police officers had actually followed legal procedure on this properly, if they had been as oppressive, half as oppressive as they are supposed to be according to the left, everything would have worked out for the better here. Now, this is going on quite some bit now to again illustrate the fact that not only are we no longer in the same reality, our realities have not merely simply separated, we do not perceive the flow of information anymore in the same way. As you've of course also got Alex Colston here going, oh wow, he's actually a violent protester? I respect him a lot more now. with yet further AI-generated imagery as well. Nurse Alex Pretti, who was killed days ago by an ICE agent at a rally in Minnesota, helped disabled veterans get back on their feet, and there's nothing more that needs to be added about the spirit of this man. Well, he seems to be quite casually tightening this guy's belt here as his arm snakes around him. He is also supervising 2 patients simultaneously. 2 patients, by the way, with this one has a double leg amputee, and this guy has just 1 prosthetics. No. This is, of course, another blatantly AI-generated image, as was the image used by CNN as the height of insulting. They looked at this guy and thought to themselves, he's not very pretty, is he, Pretty? This isn't going to win the sympathy of all of those stay-at-home house moms that the left supposedly relies upon. We've got to pass him through grok real quick to make him a little prettier. We've got to, tan him up a little bit, make him look a bit healthier, a bit more masculine, and the nose, I mean, we've got to fix that thing. Good God. And the piece de resistance to all of this is, of course, that it yet again escalates things yet further. Kathy Griffin here. She, of the severed head fame, has decided to make a little video explaining what people should be doing in these circumstances, whilst also incidentally just talking about the active insurrection going on in the United States. So, with all of this taken in mind, right? With bearing in mind here the differences of reality, the fact that Alex would have been alive if the Gestapo was half as authoritarian as people claim for them to be, with the sheer outrageous usage of AI to blatantly manufacture a narrative here. And hey, I'm even on the side of this was indeed a fuck-up at the hands of ICE. This shouldn't have gone the way it should, the way it did. It should have gone far worse. They should have pulled the guns on him immediately, thrown him to the ground and beat him shitless before anything else happened. This entire tragedy was in essence a failure of ICE to be aggressive enough initially. So, Katie Griffin's words of wisdom, let us all enjoy them, shall we?
Those of you that are awake, that see what's going on, what do you think the solution is?
Isn't that a fascinating way to start as well? Those of you who are awake, speaking to the side that is actively fabricating evidence at lightning speed.
I think the murder of Renee Good, the murder of Alex Pretti, putting children on planes and taking them to detention centers, which are really concentration camps. Call it what it is.
That's right. They are concentration camps, you see, because this SS-level organization that ICE is, that has repeatedly, and to their detriment and error, showed restraint in the face of active insurrectionist protesters, are just gathering up children and gassing them somewhere in the desert. Again, I want to stress, no matter how far apart you think our perception of reality is, you are wrong. It is worse.
Concentration camps in the United States of America in 2026.
I also incidentally do not believe that this woman has the faintest clue what a concentration camp is. Beyond that, it's a bad thing.
So take that in, and I know you don't want to participate in something radical. I don't either. I wish I could just go on the road and do my funny stories about celebrities or making fun of politicians, but not even have to acknowledge this. But it is happening all around you. It's happening around you. I live in Los Angeles. It's happening at targeted places in Los Angeles.
Yes. She wishes she didn't have to do anything radical. The woman who held up a severed head of Donald Trump that lives in Los Angeles in what looks like pretty gosh darn good accommodations there, no doubt in a nice walled resort somewhere.
And I think it's time to talk to the neighbors in real life. It's time to talk to your neighbors, find out if they're MAGA or not. Sorry, but we have to know who's on our team and start to plan.
Now, unlike this lovely woman here, I do know a thing or two about how Nazi Germany got started. And just, this will come as a shocker to you, but talk to your neighbors, figure out who they are so that we can start planning. Yes, that is exactly what happened in Nazi Germany as well. An endless campaign of active escalation against enemies of the state, whose crimes were at once so ridiculously, absurdly over the top that you'd think they'd have all the power in the world, and yet also so uselessly silly as to be able to be thwarted by a handful of idiots with walkie-talkies.
Is there a way we can do something as a community? When I hear from my followers in Minnesota, they describe a very sophisticated channel of a system of things that they do to help one another.
So what she's talking about here is the Signals group that was recently revealed, where activists were running, well, straight-on, full-on operations over Signal, allegedly directed by the lieutenant governor of the state in order to actively interfere with law enforcement, including having such things as documents instructing them on how to assault law enforcement officer. So when this woman is saying that we need to plan, and if there's anything we can do as a community, what she means is you should be a part of an active insurrectionist group that champions, argues for, and explicitly states written out in documents, black on white, that you should start assaulting law enforcement.
And they use encrypted apps, and like I said, everyone has whistles and honks their horn, but they organize in small groups. And they have told me that they learned this from the George Floyd incident, because George Floyd was murdered 20 blocks away from these other murders, roughly.
No, they didn't. They learned this from activists on the internet. This is literally an insurrectionist handbook here, and it has been around for quite a while. And what I want to further stress here as well, once we get into this, is that the left's primary political strength in all of this has been both their ability and willingness to escalate every situation on every level. No matter what happens, they are willing to take it to the next step. And that includes, of course, political assassinations, as we had them, one successful and one unsuccessful, in recent memory, of course. The left is already organizing for violence. It already has its speaking heads like this, who are in active contact with insurrectionist groups, now attempting to encourage yet further people to escalate. The left wants this to go up, because to them, this is a winning strategy. They have utilized it on multiple occasions before. Escalation has always made the right eventually back down, because they hit a point where their moralities say, we cannot proceed beyond this, or we would become the villains, even as the left laughs and shoots right past it, simply arguing that, well, our enemies, despite their apparent moral hesitations, are the very essence of evil, and so we must fight it at all costs. And so, when the left starts thinking about making lists, going around and figuring out your political affiliations to make plans, look at what the right is currently doing. In this case, it is arresting illegal immigrants. It is taking actions against this community, which the left, by the way, views as simply just people, as citizens like any others. From the left-wing point of view, this is the government simply just arresting and assaulting random people in America. This is important to understand where the escalation will then come in. To the left, then, it is now not only excusable, but directly necessary to do the same and worse to their political opponents. I just want to make that very, very clear here. The left has had a non-stop history of this exact kind of escalation for the last decade plus. The odds that they will suddenly pull back on it now are vanishingly small, and the only reason why it will not happen immediately is because they do not possess the power with which to carry it out. They don't have the ability to make their threats reality yet. It is important everybody understands this, because it lies at the heart of what does need to happen next, and that is again simply just continuation from the right of doing the same thing. And I do hope, by the way, as there has been a little bit of back and forth nonsense going on in Minnesota over this, as to whether or not ICE and Trump is backing down, or whether or not Tim Walz is backing down, surrendering the police force over to basically federal control, making them finally do something after weeks of inactivity. I hope, genuinely so, that this will simply lead to yet further escalations from the right, because it is the only way in which this will end peacefully. As crazy as that sounds, but again, when you have this, when this is no longer the fringe view of the left. This is no longer some, internet phenomenon, some random thing that pops up here and there, some dude on Twitter that is obviously just cloud chasing. This is a US senator, and you can't tell me that he's fooled by this picture. Surely not. Obviously, he knows what this is. A simple glance at it will tell you exactly what this is, and yet it is presented as if it was reality. There can be no explanation for this but malice. And it would be frankly foolish for anyone to accept anything but that as an explanation. Reality is dead. Long live reality. And now, as an added bonus, you get to pick which reality you subscribe to. What a beautiful world we live in. Until next time. I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching. I do hope to see you all again soon. Have a good day.